Alright Toby, new school assignment. You and I, we're gonna start a band, learn some instruments and win a talent show. And no, this is not because I secretly always wanted to be a rock star. This is for you, so you can pass. Obviously.
Most movies you watch follow a very specific structure, and hiding that structure is one of the great arts in filmmaking. Have you ever felt like you were watching the same movie, just in a different setting, with different characters? Well, in a way, you are. So let's figure out how important these structures really are. Because once you start to recognize the plot beats, you can't unsee them. A film's opening might already tell you how the story is going to end.
Welcome to Plot Beats, where I take a closer look at these crucial moments in a film to better understand how themes, characters and structure shape the story. In the last episode, we saw how a man learned a valuable lesson about control when he was forced into a situation where he had no choice but to trust others. Today we take a look at a movie where our main character tries to fake it until he makes it and discovers something very different along the way. A heartwarming comedy classic from the early 2000s, School of Rock.
We meet our main character Dewey when he's performing on stage with his band. He lives and breathes rock and roll, but while he sees himself as a rock star, he's the only one who does. His passion blinds him from reality, but that's about to catch up with him.
On stage, Dewey is living the dream, but off stage, reality kicks in. He isn't a rock star, but he's still chasing the dream.
Dewey lives with his best friend and his girlfriend, who both push him to take responsibility and start paying rent. But while they represent a more stable, grounded life, to Dewey it also feels like something else. What happens when you stop chasing the dream? And when he gets kicked out of his band, that reality suddenly becomes a lot harder to ignore. Then an opportunity falls into his lap. He pretends to be his best friend and takes a job as a substitute teacher. Motivated by money, Dewey enters a world he doesn't belong in. A strict private school, filled with disciplined, well-behaved kids. But instead of adapting, he turns the classroom into his stage. Meanwhile, he's still struggling to form a new band. Until he realizes something unexpected. His students have talent.
The job stops being a job and becomes an opportunity. Dewey has found his band. Once again, he's playing a role. First as a rock star and now as a teacher. And somehow, he's found a way to combine both.
Dewey introduces a new school project to the students, Rock Band. But instead of telling the truth, he frames it as an assignment and convinces them to keep it a secret. And as he shapes the band, Dewey naturally puts himself right in the center of it. Dewey gets his second shot at winning Battle of the Bands. And to get there, he's willing to do whatever it takes. There is just one problem. Everything depends on a lie. While dealing with the secrecy, Dewey prepares his students for the show. Along the way, he starts to see their struggles. Pressure from parents, fear of failing, or simply not being seen. And without really intending to, he helps them find a voice they didn't know they had. So even though he's doing everything wrong as a teacher, he's actually helping them grow. But old habits don't just die. And in order to make his dream work, Dewey has to bend the rules. Like sneaking out the entire class for the Battle of the Bands auditions. Dewey can still manage his lies, but the risks are getting bigger and the pressure slowly rises. And while he's using his students to get back on stage, he's also doing something he doesn't see yet. By pretending to be something they're not, Dewey and his students fake their way through the auditions. The band officially enters Battle of the Bands. What started as a school project is now something real, something big, something there's no going back from. And from here on, it's not just Dewey's dream, but the children's too. While his students continue to grow and take ownership of the new identities, Dewey keeps expanding his web of lies. And it doesn't take much for it all to come crashing down. his best friend finds out that Dewey has been pretending to be him, and during parents' night, everything spirals out of control.
The more he tries to hold everything together, the more it slips, because everything is still built around his act. Dewey isn't just trying to manage the situation, he's trying to stay in character.
And then, in front of everyone, Dewey gets exposed. The act is over. He's no teacher, just someone who lied to get what he wanted. In one moment, he loses everything. His job, his band, and any chance to win Battle of the Bands.
And the trust of the kids. The real loss isn't the dream, it's the people who believed in him. And just like that, he's back where he started.
But while Dewey feels like everything is lost, the children don't. They take what he taught them, break the rules, and go after him. And it's their rock and roll attitude that gets Dewey out of bed and back up on his feet. With the school and a mob of angry parents closing in, the band makes it to Battle of the Bands. And there, Dewey steps back from center stage. He's not there for the spotlight, but for the children.
He's still on stage, just not at the center of it. And maybe that's now precisely where he wants to be.
During the performance, everything comes together. The kids take the stage and fully step into who they've become. Dewey is still leading, but in a different way. He supports, guides, and lets them shine. Not as a rock star or as a teacher, he's finally just himself. And when he jumps the crowd and gets caught, it all clicks.
Dewey may not be a rock star, but he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
Even though they didn't win, the performance reaches its true goal. What started as a selfish attempt to get back on stage turns into something far more meaningful. The kids return to their lives, but changed. And Dewey has found a new role, one where he can share his passion, guide others, and stay connected to the music he loves. He didn't fake it until he made it, he faked it until he found where he truly belonged. What started with a man pretending to be someone he wasn't, driven by dreams that blinded him from reality, ends with someone who finds purpose in helping others discover their voice. Dewey's journey shows us that sometimes becoming who you're meant to be starts with letting go of who you pretend to be.
The story in School of Rock isn't overly complicated, but it is told in a very effective way. The chemistry between Dewey and the children and the sense of fun shown on screen is just something you don't see often. Its themes, chasing your dreams and pretending to be someone you're not, are surprisingly relatable. And somehow they found a way to combine it all into something quite magical. I hope this video has shown you that it was never just a movie about a competition, but about wanting to be seen and learning to see others. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, I can't thank you enough. What character could you relate to the most? And also, what plot beat in a movie do you like the least? I'd love to read it in the comments. On behalf of this little dude and me, thank you for watching.